Stand up right now if you're physically able. Go ahead, I'll wait patiently as you rise to your feet. Once you're standing, pause for a deliberate moment and truly pay attention to how your body and mind feel in this very instant. Do you notice a bit of stiffness creeping into your joints or lower back? Maybe a general sense of tiredness pressing down on you? Or perhaps that all too familiar mental fog drifting across your thoughts? Here's a crucial truth that far too many seniors unfortunately ignore or brush aside. The subtle dullness in your thinking right now, together with those annoying occasional memory slips or struggles to find the right word, may not be an unavoidable or perfectly normal consequence of aging, even though that's what many have accepted for years. Let me share the eye-opening and often surprising reality. These ongoing sleep problems are quietly and steadily eroding the long-term health and performance of your brain. This happens silently, without any obvious physical pain, without dramatic warning signs, and often without you even realizing the slow damage is occurring deep inside. What if I told you straight away that the single largest hidden factor quietly sabotaging brain health in so many older adults isn't too much sugar, isn't built-up chronic stress from years gone by, and isn't mainly your genes, but something far more common, every day, and completely within your control to improve: your sleep habits, patterns, and daily routines. My name is Doctor, and for over 20 years now, I've devoted my entire professional career and clinical research to exploring the deep links between sleep patterns and sustained brain health, particularly among seniors. In my practice day after day, I've seen the same distressing pattern emerge with painful regularity. Seniors come to me convinced, often anxious, sometimes truly scared, that their worsening memory lapses, rising irritability or short temper, or episodes of confusion are simply unavoidable signs of growing older that everyone eventually faces and can't escape. Yet, in a surprisingly high number of these situations, when we look at the complete picture carefully, the real root cause is something far more fixable, treatable, and manageable: the way they've been sleeping, or more accurately, the ways they've been missing out on consistently high-quality, deeply restorative sleep night after night. What most people have heard for years, and what still gets repeated in mainstream sleep advice, is, sadly, quite incomplete. It overlooks several of the most vital and powerful details. Good sleep isn't just or mainly about how many hours you spend lying in bed each night. In truth, sleep is the single most essential, non-negotiable daily phase when your brain performs a wide range of critical behind-the-scenes maintenance and repair work. It actively flushes out and removes the harmful metabolic waste and toxic proteins, like the well-known beta-amyloid tied to cognitive decline, that pile up while you're awake. It solidly locks in and reinforces the new memories and skills you built during the day. It carries out fine repairs on worn or damaged neural pathways, and it resets and rebalances your emotional centers to bring back calm and emotional strength for the next day. When sleep gets consistently interrupted, fragmented, shallow, or lacking in true quality, even if the total hours look okay, the brain is nearly always the first organ to show the resulting harm, decline, and impaired function. From a detailed clinical and neuroscientific viewpoint, the suprachiasmatic nucleus, SCN, the brain's master internal clock situated in the hypothalamus, relies heavily on steady, dependable, repeated timing signals from your daily habits and surroundings to stay synchronized and work at its best. When bedtime shifts too much or becomes erratic, even by only an hour or two from night to night, the amount and quality of deep NREM sleep, which is absolutely crucial for solid long-term memory consolidation and synaptic pruning, get noticeably shortened, weakened, and broken up. A careful long-term study by researchers at the University of Colorado Boulder followed 300 adults over a full 8 years. Their results showed that people with inconsistent or widely varying sleep schedules suffered a remarkable 30% faster decline, specifically in episodic memory, the type used for recalling personal events and experiences. And this quicker drop happened even when average nightly sleep hours remained about the same. Another very common habit among a large number of seniors is staying awake in bed for long stretches, anywhere from 20 minutes up to an hour or more, night after night, while telling themselves it's not a big issue or this happens to everyone sometimes. But this habit is especially harmful, sneaky, and self-reinforcing. Your brain is a highly efficient, lifelong learning machine that constantly builds strong associations between locations, actions, and states of mind. When you stay awake, restless, or anxious in bed for extended times repeatedly over weeks and months, your brain slowly but firmly starts linking your bed to wakefulness, mental alertness, rumination, worry, or mild stress, instead of the calm, deep, restorative rest it's meant for. Over time, this conditioned negative link leads to lighter sleep structure overall, far more frequent brief awakenings and fragmentation throughout the night, and much less slow-wave, deep restorative sleep. Consider a simple, everyday comparison. It's like repeatedly trying to park your car and leave it sitting in the middle of a busy, noisy city intersection full of traffic instead of pulling into a quiet, safe garage. Your bed is designed to be a peaceful, secure, predictable haven, a true garage, where your mind and body can fully rest and recharge. But by lingering awake and active in it night after night, you unintentionally turn that calm rest space into something chaotic like rush hour traffic with constant noise and stimulation. Research from Johns Hopkins University, which followed 250 adults aged 65 and older over a long period, clearly showed that those who regularly spent prolonged time awake in bed had an average of 42% more disruptive nighttime awakenings and markedly higher morning anxiety and tension levels. The quiet but real accumulating effects include steadily increasing brain fog during the day, ongoing irritability or short fuse, lowered emotional resilience, and even the start or worsening of anxiety patterns, even in people who never had much anxiety before. Imagine your brain as a big absorbent sponge while you're awake. It has to soak up enough wakefulness pressure from long active hours so it can be properly squeezed, cleansed, and refreshed during sleep. When you cut that daytime buildup short by going to bed much too early, the nighttime cleansing, repair, and memory consolidation can't happen as fully or effectively. Detailed polysomnography research from the University of Michigan found that seniors with very early bedtimes, often 8 p.m. or before, had REM sleep cycles about 20% shorter on average, even when spending 9-10 hours in bed trying to rest. This timing mismatch often looks a lot like, and gets mistaken for, the earliest signs of cognitive decline or mild cognitive impairment. The good news is that in most cases, this is largely reversible once proper bedtime adjustments are made consistently. Furthermore, controlled studies from Stanford University showed that even modest ambient light at night in adults 65 plus suppressed melatonin production by up to 50%. This drop led to lighter, less efficient sleep stages, poorer next-day memory formation and retention, and small but clear drops in executive function. Too many seniors underestimate how damaging this one small environmental factor can be over time, mainly because the brain doesn't send loud, painful alerts when melatonin is chronically lowered. The cognitive and emotional downsides build gradually and quietly over months and years, making the link to poor sleep habits tough to spot in the moment. Take Harold, for example. A 68-year-old man who slowly moved his bedtime earlier and earlier down to 7 p.m., thinking more time horizontal would mean better rest, quicker recovery, and more daytime energy. Instead, the reverse happened. He woke reliably at 3 a.m., wide awake, unable to fall back asleep, staring at the ceiling in frustration for hours. Neuropsychological tests at that point showed mild but definite declines in short-term recall and working memory. He'd also been using low-dose sleep medication nightly for years, and it was losing its effect. Working together, we set a strict, non-negotiable wake-up time every morning, no matter the previous night's sleep. Cut nighttime light exposure sharply, especially from devices and hallway lights, and slowly pushed bedtime later by 15 minutes every few nights. Harold's deep sleep percentage rose by an impressive 35%, per his sleep tracker. In just 8 weeks of sticking to it, his word recall and list learning scores jumped from 1520 to 1920. The heavy morning brain fog he'd endured for years vanished completely, and his daytime mood grew stable, patient, and upbeat. The rest protocol restored his brain's natural repair and regulatory cycles. The foundation of the rest protocol is rhythm, firmly anchoring your wake-up time every single day, Commit seriously to getting up and out of bed at the exact same time each morning, regardless of how little or poorly you slept. Next comes stimulus control, a proven behavioral sleep technique. If you're awake in bed longer than 20-30 minutes at any point during the night and sleep isn't coming despite relaxing efforts, get up gently. Keep lights very dim, use a small red amber light if needed for safety, and do something truly dull and non-stimulating, like reading boring pages from an uninteresting book, listening to calm, non-narrative sounds, soft nature or instrumental music, or sitting quietly elsewhere. The aim is to recondition your brain to strongly associate bed and bedroom with rest, relaxation, drowsiness, and deep sleep, not wakefulness, rumination, or anxiety. Johns Hopkins research found this technique cuts average nighttime awakenings by about 42% in seniors within 6 weeks of consistent use. Then timing, the third pillar. Target a bedtime window of roughly 9:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. for most seniors. Adjust slightly for your chronotype or schedule, but this range has strong evidence. If your current bedtime is much earlier, like 7:30 or 8 p.m., shift it later gradually, in 15-minute steps every few nights, until you hit a better biological spot. Finally, actively limit nighttime light and carefully review any regular sleep medication use with your doctor. After sunset, use only dim, warm, amber, red lighting at home, and avoid blue light screens, phones, tablets, TVs, etc., for at least 1 hour before bed, ideally 90 minutes to 2 hours. Safeguarding natural melatonin is vital for deeper, more restorative sleep and for overnight brain repair, memory consolidation, synaptic balance, and emotional reset. Consistent, modest improvements in light management and screen habits often bring surprisingly significant, lasting gains in daily brain function and well-being. Let me be very clear and responsible here. The REST protocol offers safe, evidence-based lifestyle and behavioral strategies to enhance natural sleep quality and support brain health. It is not a medical cure, treatment, reversal, or prevention for diagnosed conditions like dementia, Alzheimer's, vascular cognitive impairment, Lewy body disease, frontotemporal dementia, or other serious progressive neurological disorders. Never stop, change, or adjust any prescribed medications, sleep aids, antidepressants, blood pressure drugs, cognitive enhancers, etc., without full discussion and approval from your physician or neurologist. If you have untreated obstructive sleep apnea, major heart conditions, congestive heart failure, recent heart attack, arrhythmias, severe untreated depression, bipolar disorder, restless leg syndrome, chronic pain disrupting sleep, or other significant medical psychiatric issues, consult your doctor, sleep specialist, or relevant expert before major sleep routine changes. The best approach is gradual. Start with fixed wake-up time, slowly adjust bedtime, then add stimulus control and light management once the base is steady. Gradual shifts let your body and brain adapt comfortably and durably, far better than abrupt changes. These steps are low risk, safe for most older adults when done mindfully, and backed by solid peer-reviewed evidence showing real benefits for sleep quality, cognition, and brain health in aging. My personal challenge to you today: choose just one rest element, maybe locking in a fixed wake-up time, even weekends, shifting bedtime toward 9:30, 10:30 p.m., cutting evening light exposure, or applying stimulus control when awake too long in bed, and commit fully to it for the next 30 days, no exceptions. Each day, note briefly how your mental clarity, mood stability, and memory reliability feel compared to before. After 30 days, return here to comment honestly. What worked, what was hard, and any differences, large or small, in brain function, energy, mood, or sharpness. Your real stories can inspire, encourage, and build hope and community for others facing the same issues, while creating accountability. Your brain has carried you faithfully through decades of life's highs and lows, joys, challenges, triumphs, hardships, quiet wins, everything. It's been your companion, problem solver, memory keeper, emotional anchor. It deserves so much more than being dismissed as just old age, when much of the decline may come from fixable sleep issues, not irreversible aging. The empowering truth is, You can take practical, science-supported steps now for sharper memory, better focus, steadier emotions, and renewed mental vitality, all through thoughtful, consistent sleep habit improvements. The overlooked reality is this: poor, inconsistent, low-quality sleep, not just sugar, not chronic stress alone, not only genetics, is quietly accelerating brain function decline daily, often without pain or obvious alerts. Over 20 years in senior brain health and sleep research clinical work, I've seen this preventable pattern repeat in hundreds of patients. Memory issues, irritability, confusion, word-finding trouble, daytime fatigue, and lower resilience often stem from chronic sleep disruptions and poor sleep structure, not pure aging. Sleep is active nightly brain housekeeping, clearing toxins, storing memories, repairing connections, resetting emotions. When quality drops, the brain suffers first and most. The truth that far too many people continue to overlook, undervalue, or miss entirely is this: poor, disrupted, inconsistent, or low-quality sleep habits, not excessive sugar intake over the years, not ongoing chronic stress by itself, and not solely your genetic inheritance, are quietly, persistently influencing, impairing, and accelerating decline in your brain function every single day, often without inflicting any pain, without sending dramatic immediate warnings, and without drawing obvious attention to the connection. After dedicating more than 20 years specifically to the intersection of senior brain health and sleep science in both research and clinical settings, I have witnessed this exact same preventable pattern repeating itself over and over again in practice with hundreds upon hundreds of patients. Memory lapses, increased irritability or emotional reactivity, growing confusion or word-finding difficulty, persistent daytime fatigue, and reduced mental resilience very frequently trace their origins back to underlying chronic sleep disruptions and suboptimal sleep architecture rather than to pure, unavoidable, unstoppable aging processes alone. Sleep is so much more than merely the passive hours spent lying in bed. It serves as the vital, active nightly window during which your brain performs essential housekeeping, clearing out toxic metabolic waste products that accumulate during the day, consolidating and strengthening the day's newly formed memories into long-term storage, carrying out microscopic repairs to damaged or weakened neural connections, and resetting your emotional equilibrium and limbic system for greater stability and adaptability in the days ahead. When sleep quality consistently falters, becomes fragmented, or loses depth, your brain inevitably feels the consequences first, and most directly, often long before other organs show overt signs. Thank you sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, for taking the time to watch, listen, or read all the way through to this point. It means a great deal that you invested this time in learning about something so foundational to your long-term well-being. Please feel completely free and encouraged to drop your current age in the comments below. It helps build community perspective. Type the word foggy if that single word resonates deeply with how your thinking or energy feels these days, or simply write "I'm in" if you are ready and motivated to start making at least one small, doable change from the rest protocol beginning tonight or tomorrow. Protecting and improving your sleep really is one of the kindest, most powerful, most accessible, and highest leverage things you can do for the long-term health, sharpness, and vitality of your mind. I truly appreciate you being here with me today, and I genuinely look forward to hearing from you soon, whether it is your brain-restored confirmation, your 30-day update, or just a quick note about how this information landed for you. Take good care of yourself and your sleep. Until next time. One final gentle reminder before we part. The changes outlined in the REST protocol are intentionally designed to be approachable, sustainable, and forgiving. You do not need to overhaul your entire life overnight. In fact, trying to do everything at once often leads to overwhelm and quick burnout. That is why the protocol emphasizes starting with just one pillar, rhythm being the most powerful and foundational, because a rock-solid wake-up time creates a reliable anchor that everything else can build around. When that anchor is in place, the rest of the adjustments, bedtime timing, stimulus control, light management, become noticeably easier and more effective over time. Many people who begin this journey report that the first week or two can feel a little strange. Perhaps you will wake up at your new fixed time feeling groggy if the previous night was short, or you might resist the urge to nap during the day, a very common temptation. but one worth gently pushing back against if possible to preserve nighttime sleep drive. These temporary discomforts are normal signs that your body's internal clock and sleep pressure systems are recalibrating. They almost always fade within 7 to 14 days as consistency takes hold and your circadian rhythm strengthens. If you do experience persistent difficulty, say you are still feeling extremely sleepy during the day after several weeks of solid effort, or you notice loud, snoring, gasping episodes reported by a partner, frequent leg movements that wake you, or other signs that point toward a possible underlying sleep disorder, please do not hesitate to seek professional evaluation. A sleep study, polysomnography, or consultation with a board-certified sleep medicine specialist can uncover treatable issues like sleep apnea, periodic limb movement disorder, or other conditions that no amount of behavioral change alone can fully resolve. Addressing those root causes first often makes the rest protocol work even better and faster. For everyone else, the majority of cases where the primary issue is accumulated poor sleep habits rather than a major undiagnosed medical sleep disorder, the beauty of this approach lies in its simplicity and empowerment. You do not need expensive gadgets, fancy supplements, or complicated routines. You need consistency, patience, and a willingness to treat your sleep with the same respect you give to other important aspects of health: nutrition, movement, relationships. Sleep is not a luxury or an optional extra. It is the foundation that allows every other part of your life to function at its best. As you move forward with your chosen single change over the next 30 days, try to approach it with curiosity rather than perfectionism. Notice what happens when you protect your wake-up time even on a bad night. Observe how your energy, mood, and mental sharpness shift even subtly when you avoid screens and bright lights in the evening. Pay attention to whether getting out of bed after 20-30 minutes of wakefulness actually shortens the time it takes to fall back asleep the next time you return. These small personal observations are powerful. They turn abstract science into lived experience and give you concrete evidence that your efforts are making a difference. And when those 30 days are up, I genuinely hope you will return here and share. It does not have to be a long post. Something as simple as age 72 started with fixed 7 a.m. wake-up. Fog is lifting a little each week. I'm in. Or foggy was exactly how I felt. After 30 days of no phone after 9 p.m., I feel clearer in the mornings. Or challenging at first, really wanted to stay in bed when awake at 4 a.m., but stimulus control helped. Memory feels sharper already. Your voice matters. Every honest update helps someone else who is scrolling right now, feeling discouraged, wondering if anything can really change at their age. It shows them they are not alone, that small, consistent actions can accumulate into meaningful improvement, and that it is never too late to give your brain the nightly support it has been quietly asking for. In closing, let me leave you with this thought. Aging itself is not the enemy of a sharp, vibrant mind. Neglect of the brain's most essential nightly recovery process is. By choosing, even in one small way, to prioritize better sleep architecture, you are choosing to invest in the long-term clarity, emotional steadiness, and mental resilience that make every other part of life richer and more enjoyable. You have already taken the hardest step by reading through to the end and considering that perhaps just getting older is not the full story. Now the next small step is yours. Pick your one rest element tonight. Commit to it tomorrow morning. Track it gently for 30 days. Then come back and tell us how it went. Your future, clearer-minded self is already waiting on the other side of that consistency. Thank you again for your time, your attention, and your willingness to consider a different path for your brain health. Sleep well, live sharply, and I truly look forward to hearing from you. Until next time, take good care.